everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we'll learn about security testing. So let's get started. Security testing is a crucial component of the software testing that focus on identifying weaknesses, risks or threats in the software application. Its primary goal is to prevent attack from the malicious outsiders and ensure the security of the software application. The main objective of the security testing is to uncover all potential vulnerability and ambiguity in the application to prevent it from failing. By conducting security testing, we can identify various security threats and provide programmer with the opportunity to fix this error. It is a testing procedure that ensures the safety of data and the continuous operation of the software. So these are the principles of security testing. So that there are 6 type of principle, that is integrity, availability, authorization, authentication, confidentiality, non-repudiation. So we will see one by one. First is availability. This ensures that data and service are accessible and usable whenever needed. It involves ensuring that the data is retained by authorized person and that data service are ready for use at all times. Next is integrity. Integrity ensures that data remains unchanged by unauthorized person. Its primary objective is to enable the receiver to verify the data provided by the system. Integrity systems often use similar fundamental approaches as confidentiality system, but they typically involve the use of algorithm to check data integrity rather than encrypting all communication. This helps verify that the correct data is transmitted from one application to another. Next is confidentiality. This principle aims to protect data from being accessed by unauthorized individuals, ensuring the security of sensitive information. Next is authentication. This process involves verifying the identity of a person or entity, ensuring that only authorized individuals have access to private information or system. Next is authorization. Authorization is the process of determining whether a client is allowed to perform an action or receive services. Access control is an example of authorization. So there always be a confusion between authentication and authorization. So see, here we can see in the diagram as an example. Suppose we are on the login page and we are the website is asking for username and password, means they are asking who are you. That is called an authentication. But what permission do you have? That is called as authorization. So next is non-repudiation. This principle ensures that the message sender cannot deny sending the message and that the recipient cannot deny receiving it. It provides assurance that message have been sent and received by the intended parties. Some key area in the security testing. So there are 4 key areas of the security testing. First is system software security, network security, server side application security and client side application security. So we will see one by one. First is system software security. This involves evaluating vulnerability in an application based on different software components such as operating system, database system and other critical software elements. Next is network security. This focuses on identifying weaknesses in the network structure, including policies, resources, to ensure that the network is secure from the external threats. Next is server side application security. This ensuring that the server's encryption and security tool are adequate to protect the software from any disruption or unauthorized access. Next is client side application security. This aims to prevent users from accessing or manipulating browsers or other tools used by customers, ensuring that client side applications are secure from external threats. Next is types of security testing. There are 7 types of security testing. First is risk assessment, security auditing, posture assessment, penetration testing, security scanning, vulnerability scanning, and ethical hacking. So we will see one by one. First is vulnerability assessment. It identifies vulnerability in the system that could be exploited by the attackers. Next is penetration testing. Simulates an attack on a system to identify vulnerability and access the system ability withstand attack. Next is security auditing. It evaluates the security policies, procedure, and control of our organization to ensure compliance with the security standard. Next is security scanning. Scan the system for known vulnerabilities such as outdated software or misconfigured setting. Next is risk assessment. It identifies potential risks to the system security and evaluate the likelihood and impact of those risks. Next is security posture. Security posture refers to overall security status of the organization, including its policies, procedures, and defenses against cyber threats. It encompasses the organization's ability to detect, respond to, and recover from security incident. A strong security posture is essential for protecting sensitive information and maintaining customer trust. Next is ethical hacking. Ethical hacking is also known as penetration testing or white hat hacking. It's a practice of intentionally testing the security of the system or network by simulating cyber attacks. Ethical hackers use the same technique as malicious hackers to identify vulnerability that could be exploited by the attacker. The goal of ethical hacking is to identify and fix security weaknesses before they can be exploited to the malicious actors, thereby improving the overall security posture of an organization. Ethical hacking is conducted with the permission of organization being tested and is essential component of the comprehensive security testing strategy. So next we will see the security procedure for each step of the software development life cycle. So here in the below diagram we can see the SDLC process, that is requirement design, coding, testing, system testing, implementation and maintenance. So based on this SDLC we will see how we will perform the security testing. So on the first stage, that is requirement stage, analyze the security implication of business need and identify manipulative or wasteful cases. Then second stage is design. Conduct security testing to explore risk in the design, include security test in the development of the test plan. Next is development and coding stage. Here we will perform white box testing, static testing and dynamic testing to ensure code security. Next is testing stage. Conduct vulnerability scanning and black box testing to identify security vulnerabilities. Next is implementation stage. Here we perform vulnerability scanning and penetration testing to further identify and address security issues. Next is maintenance stage. Conduct impact analysis of area affected by maintenance activity to ensure security is maintained. Additionally, the test plan should include the following: link test data to security testing, identify and utilize appropriate security testing tool, analyze test output using various security tools, write test scenario or test cases specifically for security purpose. This approach ensures that security is considered at each stage of SDLC, helping to identify and mitigate security vulnerability early in the development process. So this is the example of security testing. So generally the type of security testing includes the problematic step based on overthinking, but sometimes the simple test will help us to uncover the most significant security threats. Let's see a sample example to understand how we do security testing on web application. Firstly, log in the web application and then log out of the web application. Then click back button of the browser to verify that it was asking to log in again or we have already logged in the application. So this step we can see and we can observe how it behaves. So there are some advantage of security testing is: first is identifying vulnerabilities. So it help identify weaknesses in the system that could be exploited by the attackers, such as weak password, unpatched software and misconfigured system. Next is by fixing vulnerability, security testing enhance the overall security of the system. Next is ensuring compliance. It's help ensure that the system meets the relevant security standard and regulations. So there are some challenges also, that the security testing can be complex, requiring specialized tool and knowledge, and security testing can be expensive, especially when using external services tool, and security testing can be time consuming, especially when conducting through penetration test or security audits. So the overall conclusion of security testing is the critical component of the software development, helping to identify and fix vulnerability that could be exploited by the attackers. While it can be complex and costly, it is essential for ensuring the security and integrity of the software system. So this is all about security testing. So thanks for watching.